All right, so today I am cruising on the Q8 Plus. This is an electric e-bike that can go up to 38 miles per hour, and it comes from a company called FENGQS. I believe that's how you say the name. But yeah, this bike has dual motors, so dual 1500 watt peak motors. So one motor in each wheel that will be propelling this thing to get a very, very fast speed. And then you throw in a pretty big battery that can get you up to 100-mile range. And also this does have hydraulic disc brakes. And this also comes in a few different colors. So you have black, you have gray blue, you have white, and also you have this really nice looking blue color that I'm riding on today. And this does have a normal price tag of $1,599, but it's on sale at the time of this video for $1,199. But the company also sent me over a code that would give you $100 off. So just use that code down in the description of this video to save a little money. But this bike also does have dual suspension as well. And as we go a little off the beaten path here on this really rocky gravel road here, we're going to test out the suspension and also just the handling of this e-bike. And so this is a fat tire e-bike, and the suspension so far is doing pretty well, and the hydraulic disc brakes brings me to a stop when I need to. But yeah, I handle that pretty well. But overall, this is a bike that for the price tag, dual motors, and again, up to 38 miles per hour is a pretty crazy good deal for people who are looking for an e-bike that has some speed to it, but also some of the other features that you might want to expect. Okay, so now for my speed test here. So to put this in dual motor mode, you just need to double press on the power button, and that will switch between single motor and dual motor. So this first test, we'll just be using the half twist throttle here on the right-hand side of the handlebars only, and we'll see what top speed that we can get to. So 3, 2, 1, boom, here we go. And one thing I noticed is that with the throttle, it is a very slow general start, but then now we are moving already at 15, 16, 18, 20 miles per hour. And we hit 24, 26, 28 miles per hour, and we are going, baby. 30 miles per hour, 31. We are at 32 miles per hour. GPS app on my phone is showing 31.5 now. And we're showing 32 on the bike's display. And we're hovering around 32 miles per hour, 32.4, 32.6. And yeah, so it looks like 32, maybe up to 33 miles per hour is what I can get. I weigh around 220 pounds, so I'm a little heavy, but that's what I can get with this. But now let's test out these hydraulic disc brakes, which are nice and quiet. And so yeah, I wasn't able to get up to that 38 mile per hour range, but that's always an estimate or just like a maybe anytime a company says up to. So that was throttle, but let's see what I can get with pedal assist. All right, so now for the same test, just using pedal assist. So 3, 2, 1, boom, here we go. And this does have a cadence sensor, so it takes a couple of rotations before the motor kicks in, but when it does, we are moving. And let me actually pump up my gears here to get to gear number 7 here. All right, and we are already at 27, 28, 29, 30 miles per hour. That was very quickly, definitely faster than throttle. And 33. And I'm really moving my legs, 34. Oh, here we go, baby. And I get 35. Woo! All right, so we hit 34 miles per hour using pedal assist, but let me see how this feels just kind of generally. But now if I am just kind of chilling and pedaling in pedal assist 5, I can hover around 28 miles per hour very easily with this bike, so I don't really have to work that hard. And now this bike doesn't ship to you fully unlocked like this. You do have to just follow the instructions in the manual that come with this, and it's super easy. It'll take you just a few seconds to go into the settings of this bike and change a couple of things to fully unlock these motors. Now, as far as the top speed that you can get when you are just using the single motor in the rear, I was able to get around like 25 miles per hour just using the throttle, and we are hitting that right now. But if I did switch over to pedal assist, I was able to get up to 28 miles per hour using this that way. All right, so now let's talk about range and battery. So this does come with a 52 volt, 23 amp hour battery, and this battery is removable as well. So just use one of the 2 keys that comes with it to just twist and unlock it, and then now you'll be able to take it inside to be able to charge it, or you can always just leave it on the bike to charge it as well. And it'll take anywhere between like 9 and 10 hours to get this battery fully charged. Now, as far as the actual range, they do say that if you are just using one single motor, you can get up to that 100-mile range. but if you are using 2 motors, you can get up to 50 miles. But that's all just going to be something that depends on how hard you're riding this bike, how often you are using the throttle, how fast you're going, how much you weigh, if you're going up hills and stuff. So the estimated range is in like perfect conditions. You're never going to probably reach that. But for me, the range is doing pretty well. So I'm at 5 miles today for my current trip, and we have lost 1 bar, but that is with me riding throttle most of the time and also going over 30 miles per hour a lot of the time as well. And so for me, I put this battery in the category of I can ride all day long without worrying about the battery draining with my typical rideage that I like to do. I'm not trying to go cross country with this thing for multiple days, but you know, if you are going to be riding it pretty hard, I think for most people's average day, the battery will last just fine. Now, a test that I'm gonna try to remember to start doing on e-bikes is what happens when the battery dies. So I'm turning the pedal assist off, and now I am just pedaling this bike, and actually let me drop down the gears a little bit. So this will just simulate what happens if you aren't using the pedal assist from any of the motors, and how this bike does ride if you do ride out of battery. And it's not too bad. So I'm able to kind of get going here. I was already moving, so that does help. But starting from a complete dead stop, you know, it might be a little bit of effort, but it's not too bad. So you can ride this like a regular bike if you need to. All right, so now let's test out this dual suspension here on this cobblestone. So on their website, they don't really have like a lot of specs and stuff for the suspension as far as like the travel and stuff. So that's a little unfortunate. And we got some more cobblestone here. So as far as the front suspension, it is adjustable as far as like you can lock it and unlock it. So when you lock it, it does stiffen it out. And that's for like really good higher speeds if you just aren't really worried about the comfort. But then the rear suspension that is actually like in the middle of the frame of the bike, kind of like underneath the seat. And this one is not adjustable as far as I can tell. So it's kind of what you see is what you get from it. But this combined with the pretty wide saddle or seat on this bike does provide a pretty comfortable ride for, again, something that's not fully adjustable. And the seat post, of course, you can raise it up and down to get that optimal height. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the seat, with the deepness of the cushion that it does have. Okay, so now for my standard hill test I do with all of my e-bikes and scooters and stuff. So I just will be doing this in throttle only mode, very long, pretty steep hill, and I am in dual motor mode. So let's see how this thing performs in 3, 2, 1, boom. Again, to start with the throttle is a little gentle, but then we quickly get up to already at 8, 9, 10 miles per hour. Typically we see between 12 or 10 to 12 miles per hour on this hill, but we're already at 20 miles per hour according to, actually 18 miles per hour according to the bike's display. And we did hit 18 according to my GPS app on my phone. So that's pretty fun. And let's test the suspension here, a little jump off the curve. Oh yeah, not bad at all. A little bit of noise with the, I believe, the fender and stuff like that, but didn't feel that bad. And now let me go a little bit off-road here. So this bike does have 26 by 4 inch fat old tires. So this is going to be bigger than the 20 by 4 inch tires that you see a lot on e-bikes, but these tires are going to get you off the ground a little bit, and also you do have dual plastic fenders to help protect you from things and stuff. But yeah, overall this bike is performing pretty well off-road with the dual suspension. As far as how comfortable this bike is to ride, it's not too bad, but the riding position is forward a little bit, so I actually don't mind it, especially for a bike that can go this fast. But what I will say is that the handlebars, you can't like raise them up or down. You can kind of tilt them forward and backwards to kind of get a different angle, but overall, you know, you are going to be sitting a little forward. And I didn't see anything on the company's website that talked about the recommended rider height for this bike, but I am 6 feet tall and I feel just fine, especially with the pedaling and stuff. My knees aren't coming up too much. But they did mention that this bike can support up to 380 pounds. So that's your weight and also anything that you might be carrying on the bike. All right, so now let's talk about the design of this bike. So I think it is a pretty nice looking bike. So the cable management isn't the best, I would say. It's not sloppy, but the cables aren't really like internally routed. So you do see them kind of flowing and tied to the frame. But I do like this blue color, as I mentioned before. The logos aren't too bad as well. They're tastefully done. And I do like the splash of silver around this bike with the suspension and also on the paint itself. And then on the front of the bike, you will find a pretty decent headlight. So it does a pretty decent job riding around at night. And this is auto sensing as well. So it can determine when it's starting to get dark and turn on. And then on the back, you will find a brake light that also will brighten up a little bit when you press down on the brakes. And also you will find some integrated turn signals. And the controls for the turn signals and the headlight are up here on the handlebars. And also you do have a button for the electronic horn. and the horn is loud. And then also on the handlebars, you will find this color LCD display. It's pretty bright, so it's easy to see in direct sunlight and also with my sunglasses on. And also I just like the way it's laid out with how the colors look on it. And then also you do have the symbols for when you are riding with one single motor and also dual motor mode. And you can also press down on the power button to be able to rotate between like your average speed and your top speed and stuff like that on here as well. And then also it will show your voltage and also the pedal assist level that you're in, and a really nice battery level indicator. And then you also do have a USB-C port here at the bottom of the display to be able to charge your phone up when you are riding. All right, so I think that's about it. So this Q8 Plus, for the sale price of like $1,200, you don't really see a lot of e-bikes come with dual motors and can get up to the top speed that this bike can get to. So if you are looking for something that has some speed and you might want to ride throttle first, this is a really good option for you. It's not going to be the cleanest bike when it comes to the design. It doesn't have a torque sensor, nothing like that, but it still is a bike that gives you some features that make it a regular good riding bike if you do want to use the pedal assist and pedal when you are riding. But also if you want to switch over to throttle only, this thing can rip up the road that you're on. And even at its regular price of $15.99, I think the dual motor feature of this bike still makes it a really good buy at that price as well. So yeah, really good all around bike. So I'll drop a link down below for this bike in the description of this video. If it is an affiliate link, if you do use that, that does help support this channel. And also if I have a coupon code down there as well, make sure you take advantage of that. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think about this bike by dropping a comment down below, and I will catch you later. Peace.